Again.
Welcome into the Hey, it's Enrico Palazzo Fantasy Baseball Podcast. I am Michael Govier. I am a host of the show, along with my co-host, Christopher Deary. Chris, how are you this evening?
Things are great. How you doing, Mike?
Pretty good. You know, we got a nice little Sunday evening. It's the FAAB show. It's fabulous. Woohoo! Yay! This is a fun show. We're going to talk about bids, opportunities, players, targets. Although players are human beings, yeah, we can call them targets because we're targeting them in hopes of securing their rights to produce for our teams. That's how fantasy baseball works. I'm at MJ Govier, G-O-V as in Victor, I-E-R on Twitter. He's at C Deary 1999. Deary as in dearly beloved, of course, not like the antler-ridden deer that run around and ruin car after car after car. In the Midwest, East Coast, there's probably no deer. Well, there's probably deer in Florida, right? You think there's deer in Florida?
Yeah, there's got to be. There's deer everywhere, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's probably just a North American thing altogether. But they don't call them, some reason they call antelopes in like Africa. I don't know what the difference between an antelope and a deer is, though. I do not.
Unsure. I don't know enough about animals, I guess.
Secretary,
I know
sure.
dogs.
Dags. Talking about dags? All right, well, we're live with the FAAB show, so we're going to talk about some players we're going to bid on, players we're focusing on for the coming week. We'll talk about some streamers, which teams have the most games, everything you need to know for the coming week. It is currently 7:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are live. Don't forget, it's Palazzo Podcast at protonmail.com. That's the email. Our tag is at Palazzo Podcast. 2 L's, 2 Z's.
Utah. Give me two.
Ching. I should get the cha-ching from the Seth Green commercials. Remember those in the 90s?
Was that rallies?
Yeah, that's when nobody knew who Seth Green was. No one had an idea. He was just a cashier guy doing the cha-ching,
That was such a big thing. It was huge.
It was.
It turned into like a Super Bowl commercial and everything. Like that was a really, really big thing. And then no one really knew until years later that was Seth Green. It ended up being like a pretty respectable actor who's been around for the last like 25 years.
Absolutely. Absolutely fascinating. Very cool stuff. Palazzo Podcast has the Palazzo Invitational, and we always like to keep you guys up to date on the latest standings. There is a lot of action going on, a lot of drama in the Palazzo Invitational. We are, what is it, officially 3 weeks after today? Is that 3 weeks you would call it?
Yeah, my whole team's injured.
What do you mean?
I have 9 injuries on my team.
No. 9?
Yeah. It's 8 or 9.
Run down some of the list. Just give me 6.
Let's see. Luis, Eloy Jimenez, Chris Davis. You name a reliever, he's been injured.
Oh, yep. Okay. Wow. Good heavens. I'm so sorry for your loss. That's not cool at all.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
What's going on with the overall standings?
Let's see. Let's bring it up. Well, let's see. I am in 55th place.
Oh,
14th in our league, so not super.
Well, you got a lot of injuries.
Impressive. I got injuries, but also like, I mean, just I got guys not producing. You know, Michael Conforto hasn't done shit, and guys injured. Conforto's not been good. Ian Happ's not been good. You know, guys injured. Christian Pache's injured. Paddock's been hit or miss. You know,
you could drop him.
Drafted.
Oh, you can't drop him because we don't have answer drops.
Yeah, exactly. Tyler O'Neill, he's been up and down. He's hurt now. Archie Bradley's on the DL. I did draft Severino, so hopefully he comes back at some point. I drafted Rick Porcello, who's not even in the league right now. So it's been rough. You know, I would have thought that Rick Porcello would have been signed by the time the season started. We drafted about a month ahead of time, but my team is just gross.
Well, it's still early. These injuries will not last forever. And in this type of tourney, standings with 50 players on a roster, it's a do or die 50-round draft. There's no pickups all year. So you got what you got the whole year. And eventually some of these guys will get healthy and they'll boost you up. And someone else is going to get hurt because there's a rash. There's just so many injuries everywhere. So the other guys in your league and the rest of the leagues, combined, there's 4 leagues in the Palazzo Invitational for the overall championship, 60 different teams. But some of those other guys are going to get hurt soon, too. So you just wait, because everyone's going to get their turn this year when it comes to injuries. Am I right?
I can see myself moving up the standings. I don't think I'm going to compete for the league. Poor Steve Paulo, who's also in our league, is behind me, and he's in last overall. And I feel bad because Steve's a guy who knows his stuff. But, sometimes it just doesn't work out. And, Guys don't produce, guys get injured. But Richard Briskin is the leader in the clubhouse at the end of
Richard
this Sunday.
Sands again, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Richard Sands. Shout out to you, buddy.
He's in the lead right now. Andrew Poplin right behind him, and Mark Kiefer's still in it too. So those guys are looking pretty good.
Yeah, those guys seem like they're always in first place so far. Yeah, it's early. It's only the first month, guys. It's April. So everybody calm down. Dear, you're not out of it, even if you think you're out of it right now. Calm down.
I'm done. I'm out of it.
Don't panic. Don't fret. There's better days ahead. I'm excited for the opportunity to be a part of the show. We're going to talk about some FAAB targets. But I want to mention some of the teams that will be playing most next week. So you always want to know the schedule. And this week's going to be a little lighter. There's not as many games. We were really spoiled this past week with just a nonstop baseball. It was very cool. It was. We had no hitters. Carlos Rodon blew everybody's mind. It was so incredible.
It was beautiful.
I still can't believe it. I'm still trying to take it in. Seriously, it's bizarre that this guy has the talent. He's good. He's got it all, but he just never delivered. And now he delivers. And I wish that I had more of him, that I could experience more of the joy that came with that no-hitter, because it was so close to being a perfect game. What do you think about what happened? Does that piss you off as a baseball player yourself, that a hit batsman is what cost the perfect game with the no-hitter?
No, it doesn't. No, it does. It doesn't piss me off. I mean, he threw a slider. I just don't understand why he threw a slider in that situation. He should have just thrown another fastball. They weren't able to catch up with his fastball almost all game. He should have gone with something out of the zone. Seen if he was going to go and chase for it, but he threw that slider and just nicked him on the foot. And I was like, oh man, it was interesting because when Musgrove threw his no hitter, few days before, I didn't want Musgrove to throw the no-hitter. I was going against him in the league, but
okay.
Yeah, but also I was just like, I don't want him to throw one. And I didn't know why. My wife's like, what are you talking about? You always want people to throw no-hitters. I'm like, no, not always. Sometimes I want them to blow it. And she's like, what? It's such a rare thing. I'm like, it happens all the time. And then a few days later, Rodon's going for it. I'm like, oh, this is must-see TV. We got to turn it on. She's like, now you're rooting for it to happen? I'm like, well, he's going for a perfect game, and he's got the story behind him of, basically kind of being out of baseball and the White Sox bringing him back after the injury. And, he wasn't, producing that well for the White Sox, and he comes back and he's been really, really good through his first few starts. And now he's going to throw a perfect game. She's like, I don't understand you. Do you want a guy to throw one day and the other day you don't? It's very odd.
Who are you?
You never know what feelings I'm going to have towards a no-hitter.
Well, I'm happy for Carlos. I'm happy for him and his comeback. It's a really positive tale about sticking with it and never say die. Non-tendered to no-hitter in just a few short months. It could happen to you. Anybody out there. Also, Mr. Votto. Joey Votto had a cool triple play. Jacob. Hey, you guys know Jessup? Hey, Russell Withers in the house. What up, Russell? Woo!
Jessup from A Few Good Men.
Jessup. Colonel Jessup is in the house. What's up, Colonel Jessup? Shout out to our guy, Russell Withers. We love him. Don't forget, he's at Armchair Roto. Follow him and go to his website, armchairroto.com. I'll type it right here in the live chat, which you can do, armchairroto.com. I think that's right. Hopefully I spelled that right there, Russell. Good to see you, buddy. And Brian says, I'm jealous of the owner who has him. I assume that's Rodon or DeGrom, or who are you talking about? I'm not sure you're talking about, Brian, but either way.
Got to be Rodon.
DeGrom came within striking distance of the all-time record, which is 10 straight Ks by Seaver. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Is that how you know it? Because I think that's what I read on Twitter. Either way, DeGrom's amazing. I was wrong. I'm going to say I was wrong here and get it on the air again, even though it's early in the season, but I was incorrect.
Wrong!
Garrett Cole is not the co-ace with Jacob deGrom. Jacob deGrom is clearly the ace. Garrett Cole is he might be number 3 now because Bieber looks insane. He's the first guy ever, to have 4 straight starts to start the year with double-digit Ks.
That's amazing. I can't believe it hasn't happened. Like that seems insane to me. Like I saw that
because it's so early, right?
Yeah, I saw that roll by and I was just like, what? I'm like, really? That's never happened before? But unbelievable.
Yeah, you would think because it's always early in the season, the hitters maybe aren't quite up to speed, that it could have happened by now. But you're right. That's why baseball's cool. There's still always firsts that happen, even in modern times. So I dig it. Shane Bieber, you are a stud. And if I had any doubt about you, I still think he gives up contact. Like, he can give up some hits and stuff, but he's going to strike out guys like madman. So you're going to get, if you're in a K9 league, you should definitely be happy about that. Our old pal Sam Jacobowitz popping in says, are you guys worried about Max Fried? I feel as though people are overreact very early in the season. Max Fried's not a guy I love, but he is consistent. He's not going to strike people out. You already know that. I don't really have anything else to say besides he's like a solid number 2 or number 3 starter on my fantasy squad.
I wouldn't worry. I mean, obviously it sucks. He went on the DL, running the bases, hurt his hamstring. I wouldn't buy into too much that happened in his first 3 starts. I mean, sure, he got bombed in almost every one of them, but his first start looked pretty good. I mean, 8 strikeouts. He's like Mike said, he's a guy who's going to be dependable, kind of that SP2, SP3 type guy who's dependable. I think when he comes back, he will be fine. They'll figure it out there in Atlanta. So I wouldn't freak out too much about Max Fried. I don't think he's droppable right now.
No, not at all. Is he? I'm going to sound bad here. Is he on the IL right now?
Yes,
because he had the leg issue, right?
Yeah, they just put him on the IL.
Yeah, so I wouldn't panic there at all. I mean, you're always moving players. Sam Jacobowitz is a regular viewer of our live stream, which is on the YouTube channel at Palazzo Podcast. 2 L's 2 Z's. You can view us anytime, plus all the old episodes.
Give me 2.
And Sam has been with us asking questions all season and off season long. Sam, I say stick with Fried unless you get a better deal, because you know best. It's also a points league, and in points league, I'd like to have a guy like Fried who will go deep into games if he's healthy. That's the one thing about Fried, right? You would agree, Deary? He can go 7 innings pretty easily, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would agree with that. Absolutely. And in a points league, guys like a Max Fried is very, very important because you need those innings pitched and you need a guy who's going to be able to go deep into games. And Max Fried has been able to do it. So I wouldn't freak out too much. It's a hamstring injury. He should be able to come back from that pretty quickly, miss a couple starts, and we should see him back here in a couple weeks.
I put in armchair Toto in the live chat.
Toto armchair.
No, Russell says that's a cover band, a Toto cover band. Sorry about that. Armchair Toto, not the name. ArmchairRoto.com. Russell Withers, he's a great guy. We got to have Russell on the show at some point. We are overdue to talk baseball with Russell. We're way overdue for that, but we will get there at some point.
Agreed.
The teams that have the most games this week are only 3. There's 3 teams that have 7 games, I believe. It is the Giants, Padres, and Angels, I believe. Yes. Giants, Padres, and Angels all have 7 games. Now, this is barring COVID catastrophes, which, again, reared its ugly head Saturday night. I was playing DFS, and I actually had a good night. I was able to bounce back from this. I had the best night I've had since, week 1. Because I had a lot of Angels and Minnesota Twins lined up, and then that game got canceled on Saturday night around 8:30 Eastern time, 9 o'clock. And I was like, oh, crap, there's not a lot of options left. I was able to switch over to some Dodgers and Padres, and I actually did okay. But that is just, God, man, I've invested a lot of money this year in fantasy overall, and COVID is definitely playing a factor. Because look at the Mets. They've had so many rainouts, so many postponements. What if they don't make up all these games? In roto leagues, you're going to lose out on the volume. Right?
Yeah, there's a lot of games that have been canceled, specifically of weather, and then you've had those COVID matchups. But what I really hate is that you're going to probably end up seeing double headers to make up some of these games. But double headers are only 7 innings. You're missing out on a couple at bats if you're going to get a full lineup. And a guy like, let's say, a Ronald Acuna or a Pete Alonso, those guys are usually starting both games and not getting pulled at all. So I think you're kind of getting screwed over with a few at bats. So I really hate to see those postponed games due to weather or COVID.
Yeah, well, at least that's the other thing. The 7-inning doubleheaders minimizes 2 innings, even if they do make it up. You're losing out, and that starts to build up. If a team like the Mets with Jeff McNeil or a J.D. Davis or even a DeGrom, maybe to a lesser extent, because he's still going to get his starts, but everyday players, you're going to start losing volume, and that has me really worried. I really didn't think COVID would be as big a deal as last year, and right now, it kind of is.
It's been weekly. It's been weekly that we've missed out on games. I mean, we saw it with the Astros last week against the Tigers, or earlier this week,
that was this week. The fucking Nats in the beginning of the season.
You get the net. It's every week. It's spin the wheel. Who's next?
It's got me really concerned, and I was already somewhat focused on it, but I just really hope that get everyone vaccinated. What? Come on, just get it done.
Well,
everyone knows athletes.
Not all of them want to get vaccinated.
Everyone knows athletes are treated better than regular people. We all know the truth of American society. It's okay. But you're right. Some of them don't want the vaccine. I don't want to get in that debate because that sounds like a waste of time.
Agreed.
But yeah, you got 3 teams with 7 games. So that's good news. But there's also some teams that are not playing as much this week. A couple with 5 games. You're going to have to take advantage of the players you got because there's not a a lot of great streaming opportunities in terms of 2-start pitchers this week. Have you taken a look at this? Because, Deary, it's kind of weak. You got Joe Ross. Are you excited about Joe Ross?
I don't want Joe Ross or Tyson Ross. Neither Rosses.
Holy shit. Was it 2019 or 2020 Tyson Ross was pitching for the Tigers? That really happened.
I think it was 19. It was only like a couple starts, and it was like, yeah, this experiment's done.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, Tyson Ross. I don't want any of Tyson Ross.
Denied. But, yes, no Joe Ross. Joe Ross, he's not terrible. In the matchups, so-so. Would there be a situation where you would ride with Joe Ross, or would it have to be the perfect matchups?
Who's he got this week?
Joe is going head-to-head with his old pals, the Cardinals and the Mets.
I mean, Joe Ross has been okay through 11 innings so far. He's got 9 strikeouts, only a couple walks. I mean,
he's at home against St. Louis, and then he's got the Mets on the road.
I mean, the good news is, like, with a guy like Joe Ross, I'm probably not streaming him on a Monday, but on a weekend, if I need to pick up some cats, Joe Ross might be a better play on the weekend for sure. I'm not someone who likes to stream early in the week. That seems kind of risky to me, at least in a head-to-head league. Points league, sure, he's got two starts. I mean, maybe give a flyer on it. I mean, if he can. His first start went 5 innings. Second start went 6 innings. He's only given up 6 hits through 11 innings, so not a bad start. But I don't believe in the track record with Joe Ross, so I'm probably avoiding it.
Whoa, don't forget, we are part of the RotoFanatic Podcast Network. So is Joe Ross. He just signed up yesterday. Joe, happy to have you aboard. You can go to rotofanatic.com and check out closing remarks. It's Sunday. This is a perfect time to read this article. I'll even type it in the live chat. Rotofanatic.com. Mike Carter, Mr. Doctor, gives you all full bullpen coverage from end to end, from the NL West to the AL East, all across the board. Plus, another great article we have, and I'm not just bullshitting here, Crosby Spencer's schedule factors. He does this every week. He lays out the schedule week to week in an article form, gives you the advantages that you're going to get. You don't want to miss that. Go to rotofanatic.com, read Crosby Spencer's schedule factors, and follow Crosby and Mike Carter because it's the right thing to do. But Joe Ross, I think, is worth the flyer. Would you rather have Nick Neidert? I mean, I don't think I'd rather have Nick Neidert. He's going against Baltimore and San Francisco. I'm not really feeling that too much.
San Francisco's been playing pretty well. They're above 500 right now.
Alex Wood came back today off the IL, and he got a victory. I'm so pissed because I was thinking about picking him up in my home league, which is head-to-head as a streamer today. Instead, I went with Ryan Yarbrough, who did get the win. It was great because he also had the opener, which that opener with Yarbrough, that's going to be a real boost to his overall value, because if Yarbrough can have somebody come in, pitch 1 or 2 innings, and then he gets to pitch until like the 8th, he's going to get a lot more opportunities for wins.
Yeah, it's so sneaky what the Rays do. A guy starts a game, goes 1 or 2 innings, and then the next guy comes in who you would see as a more of a long-term starter, comes in and goes 5-6 innings. So you really got to keep an eye on what teams are doing, especially the Rays with the openers. I don't know how they're going to be able to survive a 162-game season right now with the way their bullpen is just on the IL. Every single one of them. They got, I think, 4 guys on the IL.
Yeah. The Rays took care of the Yankees, though, man. The Yankees are a mess. I wonder if Aaron Boone will start feeling heat soon. I know this is a fantasy podcast, but I do wonder. The Yankees are struggling, and I know it is early. I understand all the parameters and all the picadillos that go into the situation, but they're going to get annoyed there in New York sooner than later.
Well, they were throwing trash on the field the other night. They were not happy.
Yes.
They're off to a very slow start. I think my wife said something. They were in last place after their game. I want to say yesterday, and it was the first time in like 25 years or something like that, or that they were in last place at any point in the season. They're off to a bit poor start. I brought it up in our household because my wife's a Yankee fan. I was like, "Is Aaron Boone going to start feeling the pressure?" And she's like, "Absolutely." People are pissed. Gleyber Torres has just been awful so far. Stanton, I brought up Stanton. I mean, Stanton, I think hit a home run today, but I brought up Stanton. They're going to hate that contract coming up. He's only been there 4 years, and the only year he was healthy was the first year he was there, and ever since then he's just been injured. Jay Bruce just retired, so there goes another first baseman that they had. So they're going to start feeling the pressure, and it's not so much that their pitching staff has been horrible, which it hasn't been very good. Kluber hasn't been very good. Taillon's been okay, but they can't hit the ball.
Montgomery's been good.
Yeah, they can't hit at all. I mean, the worst part is like Aroldis Chapman I think appeared in 4 games, and he only has 1 save.
Fun save. There's a great tweet from Rob. So, by the way, shout out to your fantastic wife and my friend Christina, big Yankees fan. Good Yankees info there, Christina. Thank you very much. I will say this. Rob Silver had a great tweet on Twitter, which is where you will usually find tweets, and it was about the percentage of saves that were actually applied in NFBC leagues overall. And it was like 56% of them were actually in leagues, but the remaining players were 44% of the saves took place were not on anyone's team.
Wow.
So they were not even used.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, I mean, it's just the shuffling that's been going on with bullpens. I mean, a guy like Lou Trevino is, he's available in my NFBC league right now. He got a win today, but he has 2 saves this week as well.
That was a great pickup. People were targeting Trevino very heavily. Russell Wither says, man, your better half follows baseball and has conversations with you about it. That's amazing. He's a lucky guy.
She also plays fantasy.
That's true. I've seen her. I've seen it happen. And Russell also says, my lady is wonderful, but that's fire. I assume fire is a good thing, right? You want to be on fire?
Yeah, fire is good.
I've seen them.
We had a question here from Ryan. He wants to know, are there any $1 guys you have interested in this week?
$1 guys.
Does Adolis Garcia qualify as a dollar guy? Or is he not going to be a dollar guy of the Rangers? He's been hitting cleanup for the Rangers since he got called up this week. Mm-hmm. What about DJ Stewart of the Baltimore Orioles? Is he a dollar guy? Because I love DJ Stewart. He's
probably above $1 guy, I would say. I mean, especially DJ Stewart's been batting third the last couple games. They moved Mountcastle down because he's off to a very slow start. They moved Mountcastle down to 6, and DJ Stewart's been batting third.
Well, as I look at my own FAAB bids here on my own rosters, and I look around, I definitely think there's some opportunities for dollar fellas. People that not everyone will be targeting. I mean, Rafael Dolis, like you said, he'll probably get a lot of money thrown his way, just like Julian Merriweather got a lot of money thrown his way once upon a time. Guys, I mentioned on the show Wednesday, Josh Rojas hit a leadoff dinger, and I mentioned him on the show as a cheap pickup, and I was still hesitant about it when I said it, but I still believe fully in what I said that day. Buy at the lowest point.
Absolutely.
Right? That's the concept. I think we believe in that pretty wholeheartedly here. So who's at their lowest point right now? Who's worth $1? That's a good question, because value is so inherently complicated based on what league you play in and the style and how many teams there are. You know what I mean, Ryan? Like, we're here to help. We really are. But I'm going to throw out some names that I think are dollar type players, and you can make a decision on your own as to whether or not you think that's worthy. How about a guy like Jacob Stallings if you need a catcher from the Pittsburgh Pirates? He's actually getting all the at-bats, which is important because catchers, a lot of platoons. We have a lot of platoons in the catcher world now. He's getting the most of the at-bats, and he plays every day, and he's okay. So that's $1. If you need a catcher, I think Jacob Stallings is a good fill. Do you have a player, dear?
I like Jacob Stallings a lot. That's a really good one. Let's see. I mean, we talked about Trevino. I mean, for $1, Cole Irvin had a nice start for Oakland the other night against the Tigers. I know it was against the Tigers, but Cole Irvin looked he looked pretty good. He could be $1 ad. I'd like to see who he's matched up against this week, but he went 6 scoreless with 6 strikeouts against the Tigers, whose offense is just completely fizzled out after their great series against Houston.
Yeah, that was too good to be true. What about Michael Fulmer, though? He's supposedly lined up for 2 starts this week. Pittsburgh and Kansas City, both at home.
I've been impressed with Fulmer so far. I mean, you got to remember, this is 2 years from Tommy John now. He's a guy he won Rookie of the Year a few years ago. He's going to have the chance to start now, which is great because they're still waiting for Turnbull to come back. Tehran is hurt. Fulmer started in kind of that long relief to start the year, but he's been pretty solid so far. I think for 2-pitch starter, I think that's a good flyer right now. I mean, he's shown in the past that he could be pretty solid. His K rate's higher than it's ever been in the league so far. He's getting a ton of ground balls. Michael Fulmer's looked pretty good through 12 innings so far.
There's also news that Lance Lynn is officially going to be on the IL with a
no.
Yeah, and the Twins also added the 3 guys to their COVID IL. There's Andrelton Simmons, Garlic, and somebody else I don't care about. Maybe Jake Cave, I can't remember. But the point being is there are dollar opportunities out there. And if you're looking for hitters, I mean, is Kevin Newman a dollar guy? Is he on your wire? Kevin played. I know he's at 167, but he's getting the opportunity, and he's going to come around. As a second baseman and a shortstop, he can provide you with daily at-bats. You want to pick up players that are going to play for you and that you can count on. I'll go back to Josh Rojas. Hitting the home run today may have sparked him. He'll get it going for Arizona. And if he stays up in the leadoff area, because Tim LeCastro is another injury, that he got hurt this weekend. So now there could be an opportunity for Rojas.
I like Kevin Newman. I mean, he showed 2 years ago, 130 games. He batted 308, a little bit of power, double-digit home runs, 60-some-odd RBIs, 16 stolen bases. I mean, sure, he's off to a 167 start, but this is a guy who's going to get regular at-bats. He's played in every game so far for the Pirates. I think that's a nice dollar guy to pick up who's probably going to start picking it up here for the Pirates team that's competing.
They do. They play hard. I'll give them credit. I mean, everyone ripped on them coming into the season, but they're battling, and fucking Brubaker on Friday night was fantastic. 8 Ks. He totally shut down the Brewers in Miller Park. No easy feat necessarily. And my buddy, Rotofanatic, you know it's coming. Paul Mamino at P Mamino Fantasy on Twitter. That's 2 M's, by the way. Mamino. He wrote an article about JT Brubaker this week, saying that he liked what he saw. Every week he does something called the GPS report. He gives you location information based off our data monster, which covers WOBA on specific pitches and the location. It's very fun stuff. You can access all of this for free yourself at rotofanatic.com. But he wrote a piece about JT was just walking a couple guys too many, and if he could start getting players to bite more, he'd get more strikeouts. And that's exactly what happened Friday night. So kudos to Paul. He kind of predicted the future on that one. Jeffrey Orbegoso. What a beautiful last name. Orbegoso. I love it. He says, I had Bumgarner, old Mad Bum, also known as, what's his rodeo name? I always want to.
Not good anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, what is that rodeo?
It's
that
like
rodeo
Mason
name?
something.
Yeah.
It's like Mason, Madison Bumgarner. Rodeo.
I still don't believe that story. I'm like, what?
It's
This is
so
what
true.
he's doing with his life?
It's so true. Mason Saunders. There it is.
Mason Saunders.
Yeah, that's S-A-U. There's a U in that one. Anyways, Jeffrey Orbegoso. What's up, Jeffrey? Thanks for joining the show. Good to see you, man. We're here at Palazzo Podcast. 2 L's, 2 Z's every Sunday night doing the FAAB show.
Utah, give me 2.
He had Bumgarner today, and he got some needed head-to-head category points. Good for you, Jeffrey. Right on, man. He's only 31, referring to Mad Bum. I feel like Mad Bum has been written off way too early in his career.
I'm trying to find the comparison of a guy that was just dominant through their 20s, and then in their 30s, they're not even like a draftable guy in a lot of leagues. There's so many guys out there. He threw so many innings for the Giants during that run, and yeah, he's 31 now.
Only 31, yeah. I mean, we look at people drafted Max Scherzer very high this year. He's 36 going on 37. But Bumgarner just doesn't have that strikeout capability. He doesn't have the same stuff that Scherzer does. You know?
Well, he never did. He never has. He's never had a K per 9 over 10 in his career.
Right. They're different pitchers. That's a fair point. My point is that I think Mad Bum still could be serviceable. It's just a matter of a few breaks. I hate to say this again. I saw a great tweet where he was up in the elite top of the leaderboard with some of the best pitchers in baseball in a certain category. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. All I know is that I wouldn't give up on him yet. And right now he's worth nothing. So this is the time to buy. This is what we're talking about. Buy it. Pick him up. Take a chance. He got you a nice win. He got you some head-to-head points in your head-to-head league. Good for you, Jeffrey.
Well, you got to look at his 3 starts. He went against the Padres, the Rockies, and the A's. Just as the A's started to heat up, was in Colorado when he gave up 5 there, and then his first start was against the Padres. Like, that's always going to be tough. The Padres are a killer team that scores a ton of runs. So yeah, he's given up a lot of hits and a lot of runs in all of his games. So I don't know. You got to find the right matchup with Mad Bum. But like to your point, Mike, he's cheap. He's free right now. So like, why not take a flyer?
Right. It's worth it. If you got some opportunities and you want to take a chance on somebody, I mean, obviously this week he was a 2-starter. This coming week he will not be. Let me run these through you real quick, and you just tell me if you like them or you don't. These are potential 2-start pitchers this week. The obvious ones are, Woodruff, Maeda, Flaherty, Castillo, blah, blah, blah.
Fun.
Yeah. Let's try Carlos Rodon. I think this is interesting. Rodon at Boston and home versus Texas. Is that a no-brainer? Because I don't think at Boston is a no-brainer.
No, it's not. You're always interested to see what a guy does after a no-hitter and see what he does. God, yeah, Boston's tough. Boston's just playing really good ball. Obviously, JD Martinez resurgence is back. Rodon is yet to give up a run this season. Like, when's it going to happen?
That's 2 starts. 2 starts, no runs. That's nice, but it's Boston. I would be weary. If you're doing a weekly lineup, I would be weary if you don't want to get your whip torn up. I think Boston could be a reality check for Carlos because he's riding so high. And eventually you got to come down the other side of that mountain peak. It's just classic. It's a classic tale. How about Dustin May at Seattle at home versus San Diego? Easy peasy.
San Diego's the second matchup?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how far May is going to go into games, right? I mean, what's he gone so far? I don't think he's pitched into the 5th yet, has he?
Oh, yeah. I think he pitched in the 5th the last game a couple days ago.
Okay, yeah, his first start against the A's, which was on the 5th. He went 6 innings, and then he went 4 1/3 against the Rockies. But he's looked pretty decent. He did give up 7 hits against the Rockies, but only 2 earned. And his Ks have been up, so he's striking guys out. Which I've always been wondering, like, why is this guy not striking out like 25-30% of the guys he faces? Because the guy throws absolute gas.
Yep. Yeah, that's a really good point. No doubt about it. Ryan in our live stream chat, which you can always join anytime we do the show live. You can join and talk with us in real time. Ask questions. Ask us what we love about life. Ask us what we think we'll die from. You know, we always wonder. We never know for sure. But you can ask us anything.
I think about it daily. What am I going to die from?
Yeah. Oh, I think we already locked ours in. Didn't we both agree that both of us would die from heart failure? I think maybe I was a stroke and you were a heart attack. I can't remember which one was which, but
45 years from now.
Yeah, well, yeah, sure. Not just quite yet. Ryan says, lefty in Fenway seems scary. I feel like those Rodon walks we've seen for years may make a comeback at some point. See, Ryan, you're speaking my language right there. I love what I saw from Rodon. It was a magical night there in Chicago. 2 no-hitters for the White Sox in the last 10 months, 8 months, 9 months. It was August, Giolito, and now Rodon in the spring. It's incredible. And we've had 2 no-hitters in the first 2 weeks of the season or 3 weeks of the season with Musgrove and Rodon. It's really, really cool. But at some point, there's going to be the other side of the coin. So,
Rodon in Fenway against the right-handed bats of Martinez and Bogarts, and oh god, that's dangerous.
Okay, a couple more real quick. Brad Keller at home against Tampa and at Detroit. I like both those matchups.
I agree.
Okay, we're in. What about Jesus Luzardo? Now, there's already been a cancellation of Monday's Oakland and Minnesota game. So make note of that. That's one less game.
He will not get 2 starts this week.
Yeah, no 2 starts. And Shohei Ohtani is now going to start Tuesday for the Angels. That's the next time, pitching-wise, that Shohei Ohtani is going to play on the mound. But you have to be really careful with your lineups with the Twins this week because Monday's canceled. We don't know if Tuesday will get canceled against the Athletics again. So I might be benching some of the Twins this week if it's the double opportunity like in TGFBI where you can start guys on Mondays and Fridays. I might check in back on Friday.
Yeah, I'd wait it out. There's no guarantee that Tuesday's happening.
Yeah, it's a real mess.
But then again, what are we going to believe? I mean, we both thought Fernando Tatis would be out to midseason, right? And then he comes back and starts.
Yeah, but is he really going to be effective?
He hit a home run already.
That's insane. It's so insane.
We don't know any. Yeah, I know.
I'm thinking the same thing about Lamet, his teammate. Dinelson Lamet's supposed to be coming back. He's on the brink, ready to go.
Yeah, but we don't want
that Dinelson Lamet's healthy?
We don't want any of Lamet.
Right. So you don't believe that you're not buying in the fact that Lamet's going to be healthy and he's going to give you 120 innings this year.
No. I think I think one of the Shiner Ride the Pines I saw was 130 innings that we had, and everybody said no way.
Oh, by the way, you're working on that document. It's getting close, guys. We're getting closer to the.
Oh, it's done. It's done. It's ready to roll out. Maybe I'll tweet it out tonight.
Oh, well, wait. Let's save it for the Wednesday show. We'll go into it.
Oh, that's
or
perfect.
You can tweet it out. You can go do whatever you want. But I'm excited.
We'll do it Wednesday. We'll look into it on Wednesday.
Wednesday, don't forget, we do shows Sunday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We missed Friday. My power was out, and I got depressed. Shit happens. We're back here Sundays, every Sunday night, about 7 p.m. We're going to give you the FAAB show. We're talking FAAB bids. Tell us who you're looking at. We'll give you our opinions in real time leading up to the bid process in NFBC and Fantrax. I don't know if everybody does FAAB on Sundays. A good friend of mine, not a good friend of mine. I like him a lot, but he's not, I can't call him my best friend. DVR, Derek Van Riper.
My best friend.
Yeah, Derek DVR. Yeah, we're pals. We go way back. No, but he was in our Glarf chat, which is the Great Lakes Roto Area Fantasy League that I'm in with a bunch of Great Lakes people. which includes Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan, Ohio, Rotosaurus guys, shit like that. Anyways, in that chat today, he was saying, why don't we do FAAB on Thursdays? I was like, yeah, I don't. Why does it have to be on Sundays? And I don't see why that is.
Is it just industry standard Thursdays?
It seems to be.
Or Sundays?
Yeah, it just seems like somebody picked Sundays, and that's where we are. But you don't have to do that.
No.
So it was a good point.
I kind of like the idea of a midweek.
I agree, Derek. We're not taking your idea. We're actually promoting your idea and supporting you. Just want you to know that, Derek. You're listening to the Hey, it's Rico Palazzo Fantasy Baseball Podcast, part of the Roto Fanatic Podcast Network. Don't forget, Palazzo Podcast is right here on the screen, and the audio version, 2 L's, 2 Z's.
Utah, give me 2.
All right, other FAAB targets. Let's get into it. We covered it's not a great week for 2-start pitchers. A couple other 2-starters could be Tyler Anderson of Pittsburgh, Kohei Arihara of the Rangers, who might already be rostered. Josh Fleming, if he's out there for the Rays, he might go twice.
Yeah, it's like 3 innings each time, though.
Yeah. So this is what you got. It's not a great week for 2-start streamers, in my opinion. And most of them are already owned. Nate Eovaldi, E-Rod of Boston, Dustin Maybe, like we said, Zach Plesac, Kevin Gausman, Marcus pitched today, so that's not going to be a
Oh, man, I'm really interested to see if Plesac comes back after just getting bombed the other day by the White Sox. Woo-hoo.
He got rolled up, right, Russell? You know what I'm talking about, Russell? You feel me?
Well,
Russell says
You know who looks like the guy who's been really, really nice with the Indians besides Bieber is Aaron Savali's looked really good through 3 starts.
Nice and consistent. Yeah. Not as flashy, but rock solid. I agree. I took one flyer on him, and that was in my main event. I feel happy about that. Russell says my home dynasty does FAAB every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, and it processes it in the morning. Well, that's cool, fun. Russell. Russell, make that industry standard, please. All right, let's get some more FAAB bids. Let's talk more hitters now. So, like we said, there's only 3 teams with 7 games. A lot of other teams are not going to have 7 games. So, is there a hitter that you would like to throw out there? Give us somebody you like this week. Someone to put a bid on, because we have injuries that holes need to be filled.
Well, Cody Bellinger is going to be out for a long time. So if Zach McKinstry is still available, the guy has infield and outfield eligibility. Zach McKinstry is a guy that you certainly want to go after because he's going to be getting all those at-bats until Bellinger is back. So he's been able to show some power. He's been able to get on base a bunch so far, betting kind of near the end of the lineup, but he's kind of an exciting guy who could really give you some value right now.
Oh, he's going to be a huge... I'm expecting large amounts of cash to be thrown for Zach McKinstry.
Yeah, I got a bid on him. I have no idea what the right bid is going to be.
It'll be league dependent, but I think I have a rough idea of where he'll probably go with Mr. Bellinger being out with the hairline fracture, with very sad news. I thought that he'd be coming back sooner than later, but it turns out if you had asked anybody, even a week ago, hey, who do you think will be back first, Bellinger or Tatis? I'm almost certain that everybody would have said Bellinger, right?
Absolutely.
Good gosh. You never know, guys. That's the thing. Plan accordingly, but be ready to pivot because you have no idea what's going down. Ryan has a bid on him himself, but he thinks he's going to hit triple digits. Woo! Yeah, this is McKinstry. Zach McKinstry could very well hit triple digits.
Yeah, my bid is not triple digits, and I think he might go triple digits here.
Yeah, he's a big name this week. He's playing good. He's on a great team. It's just a no-brainer that someone's going to go bonkers. Going to go completely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when it comes to Zach McKinstry. Let's see. Other teams that have 6 games this week, the Astros. And it looks like if you were trying to fill the void with Bregman and Altuve and Jordan Alvarez being out, it looks like they're going to be back.
Yeah, this shit happens quickly.
Yeah, the COVID thing, the COVID doesn't have a timeline. The COVID list, is it mandatory 7 days? Do we know this?
I don't think so. No.
I think
my belief is that if you come back and you test negative, like your next 2 tests, you're good to go.
Yeah, because JD Martinez last weekend was on the COVID list Saturday night, and then Sunday he hits 3 home runs. So you're right.
It's not like last year where they were testing positive and they were out for at least a week.
Dude, that is such a bizarre. Let's get everyone vaccinated so we can end this madness. But hey, it's part of our game, and we do need to adapt accordingly. So the Astros have 6 games. Oakland right now has 6 games. That could change. One of them is at Baltimore. I like that. Oakland in Baltimore at Camden Yards. A lot of opportunity for power and offense. Phillies have 3 games. 3 of them at Coors. That's on the weekend stretch. So get ready for the Phillies in Coors. That's going to be a good ass time.
Coors.
And the Tigers have 3 games, and so do the Rockies have just the Tigers. That's it. So there's only a couple more teams with 6 games. A lot of 5 gamers this week, folks. Sorry, buzzkill. All right, let's talk hitters again. Give me another hitter. Give me more. Who else? Who else are we targeting? McKinstry's big. Is there someone else that
How about our old buddy Josh Harrison playing for the Nats? He started in every single game this week. He's a guy who's proven that he can be a fantasy asset, but we all thought he was done. I thought he was done and out of the league. I mean, he had that hot stint with the Tigers, and I thought it was completely over and he was going to retire, but he's back, folks, and he started in every game this week for the Nats, playing second base, probably slotting in about 6th in their order. So he's a guy you could certainly get in on the cheap right now.
Good Lord. He was a Tiger for a minute too. Remember that?
Yeah, and then I think he got injured, and then it was over. But see, I thought he retired.
I didn't hear that. I don't know.
And he's just back, just like that.
Back. How about Jed Lowry? Now, if Jed Lowry is still available, that's somebody you could throw a cheap bid on, but he might go a little bit more than $1 for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely going more than $1.
Yeah, if he has second and third base eligibility, depending on your format, that's going to be someone who will probably cost.
I think a lot of people got in on him last week just because he started getting a lot of at-bats just about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago for them.
Okay, that's true. Well, if he's out there, that's someone you can take a look at. What about Willie Calhoun? Willie Calhoun is back in action, folks. This is somebody that will probably get a lot of run, but there could be hesitancy because it's a crowded house in Texas. Willie Calhoun, are you willing to take a bid, or do you think it's not worth it because it's too messy?
Yes, it's messy in Texas, whether or not he's going to be able to get enough starts or at-bats, but I would certainly take a flyer on him. He's shown in the past that he can hit for power. He's a disaster playing the outfield, but hey, you could slot him in at DH here and there. So he's a guy who's proven to have some fantasy value in the past. He's been injured over the last couple of years. I would certainly take a flyer on Willie Calhoun.
Our old buddy, Brian K. in the house. What up, Brian? Good to see you, buddy. He says Yelich is on the IL. Christian Yelich of the Milwaukee Brewers is on the IL. The back issues. Don't worry about it. He'll be fine eventually. But Billy McKinney going to get some run? I actually like Billy McKinney. I was looking at him at DFS over the weekend. He'll hit home runs in spurts and kind of surprise you. That is a great, super cheap outfield filler right there. Billy McKinney. Yes.
That's $1 bid right there.
Hell yeah, it is. That's perfect. That covers exactly what Ryan was talking about. Great call, Brian. I love it. Well done, sir. Nice work. Sam Jacobowitz wants to know, who do you like more, DJ LeMahieu or Jose Abreu? I got to go DJ. I said this on the show the other day, right, Deary? Because of the multi-eligibility opportunities. He makes your life a lot simpler when you're trying to deal with all these COVID issues and injuries. I just prefer a guy who can give me first, second, and third base over a guy who's kind of overrated at first.
Yeah, and you got to believe that the Yankees are going to heat up at some point. LeMahieu's doing a great job getting on base. He's only got 1 home run. He's batting .288. He's a guy who's probably going to bat closer to 300. He's only got 7 runs, but like the Yankees are just powerless right now. They can't do anything. Eventually that lineup will heat up and he'll get closer to scoring like 85, 90 runs. So I would probably say LeMahieu just because I like the projections moving forward, but more importantly, it's the dual eligibility to be able to play second base and first base. He's probably going to start getting a lot more run at first base right now until Luke Voit gets back.
Yeah, the Yankees. Gary Sanchez is not majorly hurt. That's good news. X-rays were negative over the weekend. He got hit by a pitch, I believe, or was that what happened? I just read the details. I actually didn't see it, so I don't know. Either way, I know the X-rays were negative, and he's supposed to play on Tuesday. That much I can guarantee you. So lock that in. Good news for Gary Sanchez owners, who's off to a decent start so far. As far as more hitter opportunities, I just think it's a matter of maybe slowing it down this week. It seems like there's been a bunch of big loads dumped on leagues with big cash. You know, the old Uncle Pennybags, Uncle Scrooge McDuck jumping into the coins, the pool coins. You can't jump into a pool of coins. You would break your neck.
That's what I always say. You're going to break your neck as soon as you get in there. But it's a cartoon, one of the greatest cartoons of all time.
Life is like a hurricane.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I don't see in terms of hitters being triple-digit bids out there this week. Maybe a McKinstry, but it's not like it's been the last few weeks where you had a Yermin Mercedes that was out there where 150 to 250 bucks were being spent on him. I don't see that guy going for a lot of bucks this week. So you got to look low. You got to look at your kind of $1 to $5 bids. A few guys that we had mentioned. I think you could certainly get in on the cheap, but maybe pull back this week and not go nuts on some of your bids in terms of hitters.
Yeah, Matt Olson's also day-to-day with a thumb contusion, something to take note of. J.D. Davis is also back for the Mets. He's off the IL and playing, so that's good news. If he was dropped, somebody had a roster crunch, I would definitely go pick up J.D. Davis. If you're in 12-team leagues, 10-team leagues, I'm pretty confident he might be on the wire. Sam Jacobowitz wants to know, Jansen or Presley? I'm very worried about how they're running Jansen, and Presley is their main guy, clearly. It feels like he isn't playing every time he can. Victor Rodriguez, a guy I had no familiarity with, got a save last night for the Dodgers. Not Jansen. I think I'd rather have Presley. Presley finally got a save the other day, so I'm Presley all the way on that one.
Yeah, I love Presley. And we seem to be talking about Jansen every week. That's his job. But, I mean, the Dodgers are, 12-2, 13-2 right now? They're certainly looking towards the stretch run in the playoffs, and they have just a whole bunch of arms in the bullpen. So you're not going to see Kenley Jansen every single night. He's still the guy, but they're going to be safe with him. And a guy like a Gonzalez or Blake Trinan are there to help out and pull some saves in there here and there. But I like Presley in the long run. Yeah, it's probably Presley in the long run. He's somebody that I had above Jansen early on in the season. I think I had Presley right around tier 2, tier 3. He was probably 9th or 10th closer that I liked. So I would certainly go with Presley. Yeah,
I'm with Presley all day. And I mentioned Tim LaCastro earlier in the show because Josh Rojas is hitting leadoff today. I really think that could continue to occur because LaCastro is definitely on the IL. He hurt his pinky sliding in for the first time that he ever got caught stealing. He had an amazing run. Did you see that? It was like 29 for 29.
Yeah, he's one of the fastest guys in the league.
To start his career, that was incredible. Yeah.
We talked about him being what Billy Hamilton should have been, and now he's on the IL. But this is great news for Josh Rojas because Rojas led off the season as their leadoff guy, kind of fell out of favor with them because he just didn't start off well. But now he's back in action. He's going to be getting all the starts out there. So Rojas is a guy certainly keep an eye on moving forward for the Diamondbacks.
And our pal, Simon Dice.
The Dice Man.
Home run baseball. Home run baseball. We had him on the show. Simon, what up to you? Hope you're doing well, buddy. Hope your season's going great. But he mentioned on the show that he liked Francisco Mejia this year. And I bet that Francisco Mejia is probably still available on your waiver wires. Again, probably fairly cheaply. He had a home run over the weekend against the Yankees. He's hitting .333 in a split platoon with Mike Zunino. I understand that. But that might be worth, if you have Zunino, I think I would grab Mejia just so you have them both. If you're going to go all in on one catcher position, you might want to start adding the fantasy football type of.
You're stacking.
Yeah,
handcuffs.
Or what do they call it? Yeah, handcuffs. Thank you. Yeah, it might be time when it comes to catchers, and the more often we're seeing platoons in Major League Baseball at all types of positions, that you might want to have the handcuffs on your roster, on your bench.
Well, we know what Zunino does. He bats .210 and has the potential to hit 20 home runs, but he can't do much else. And what Mejia's been doing so far, I mean, sure, it's only 28 plate appearances, but he's only struck out a couple times, and that's been his big bugaboo, when he was with the Padres and with Cleveland before that. So he's batting .333 right now. I think maybe he starts getting more run, especially if he can be the guy that's hitting for more average. And he's got a couple home runs now. So Mejia's a guy that I like that Simon Dice was in on him early. I was kind of blown away when he was like, yeah, this could be his opportunity. And it looks like he could be getting the opportunities now. So maybe Mejia ends up being that guy 3 out of every 5 days and until they certainly make a decision that they're going to go with Mejia full time there. But I like Mejia going forward. And if you have Zunino, go ahead and pick up Mejia and get that handcuff if you have the ability to do so.
Yeah, I agree. Ryan says for catcher 2, you're prioritizing volume over a better hitting catcher, but in a 50-50 split. I can see that. I understand that, Ryan. I respect the cause and the position. Catcher is a wasteland of awfulness. And it's always going to be that way. We're just trying to do the best we can each and every day. Sam says he's going to trade Abreu, Jansen, Melanson, and Kluber for DJ LeMahieu and Ryan Presley. And then he'll pick up Craig Kimbrell and Aaron Savale, who are arguably better than Kluber and Melanson themselves. I would Yeah, I think Kimbrel looks fantastic. We said this on the show earlier in the week, so
He's looked great. Aaron Savali's been just steady, super steady. I think he's 2-0 right now, but he's had 3 really good starts. I think all 3 of his starts were quality starts as well.
yeah, 2 thumbs up, Sam. Good job, buddy. All right, well, we got to wrap up the show here. This is the quick FAAB show, the Sunday night show. We're going to do this every Sunday night around 7-ish, 6:45. FAAB streamers, the week that's coming, the schedule to look out for. Any final thoughts here, Deary, as we go into a new week?
What about Michael Wacha this week? Michael Wacha looked really good against the Yankees the other day.
He did.
He could be a nice stream for pitchers this week. He goes against the Royals, I believe, Thursday.
I love it. I think the Rays always know what they're doing, and they get the most. They throw a bunch of shit at the wall, and a lot of it falls down.
It just seems to work.
Provides you with stats that you want. So it's incredible. Ryan says, thanks, fellas. Yeah, Ryan, anytime, man. Good to have you here. Sam, thank you. Everybody who participated in the live stream, we always appreciate this. This is why we do it. The show just flies by because we're talking baseball with you guys and interacting. It's a lot.
Well, we're
of fun.
also used to like 2-hour shows preseason, so like these are just like boom, 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 boom. But
That's
I mean,
true.
looking into this week, I've done pretty good in my head-to-head league so far. My main 16 team head-to-head, my Novi league, my home league, I've done pretty good. Two wins in a row. I'm going to win 10-4 this week over our good buddy Joel, which is good. My keeper league, I'm struggling. It's been 2 battles. I'm going to be right around 500. And, you know, my Roto leagues, my NFBC leagues, I mean, it's a struggle right now. Besides, you know, my Raz Slam team, which is still in second place in my home league there.
Oh, okay.
The TGFBI and Plaza podcast. I just need guys to start heating up. Guys get healthy. It's a long season, but it's going to be a hell of a trek to climb to get to the top of those standings.
Yeah, it's way too early. I wouldn't panic at all. Everybody chill, take it easy. A quick name I'll mention, Garrett Cooper. He's getting outfield eligibility. He seems to be playing every day. He's a nice bat, could be very cheap. Garrett Cooper, I would go and grab him if he's available. There's a lot of guys that could still be difference makers that are going to be called up. We're going to be looking for more call-ups too, because we're going to get past the point where they can maintain another year of service eligibility to their prospects. So stay tuned on all that stuff. Keep your eyes wide open. Open wide. And make sure you listen to the It's Rico Palazzo Fantasy Baseball Podcast, part of the Road Fanatic Podcast Network. We'll be back on Wednesday with our next show. Palazzo Podcast at protonmail.com is our email. Palazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's.
Utah, give me 2.
And you'll see me and Deary on Wednesday evening around 7-ish. Sound good, Deary?
Beautiful.
All right, guys. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you Wednesday.
Later.